Kate Shalawam, Shalawam Kwam Yasha'Allah, Koholoyim La Yahweh, Bahashim Yahushai, Bahashim Rahakwadash. Double honors to our apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well, and that by the Spirit taught us His beautiful truth, and just want to say the water to all the H.I.M and Akwaf. That's out here sincerely keeping the laws, the statutes, and commandments of Yahweh Bahashim Yahushai to the best of their ability. This is Shah Hanan the Waf, just coming at you with another quick lesson. I'm praying that it's edifying by the Spirit. And this was something that I was watching earlier today with Trump. You know, they had this little sit around hookup. Says Trump gets Dell, which is the so-called computer company, Uber, and Goldman Sachs to pay Americans $1,000 for each baby born if beautiful bill passed, right? So I just found this to be interesting because this is another go at him trying to get that birth rate up, because they understand that, you know, they're dying off quicker than they're being born. And so, you know, just a month or so back, he was offering that $5,000 and I guess whatever other incentives to go with women having, you know, babies, kind of promoting marriage. You know, we know who he's gearing it towards. He's actually gearing this towards the so-called white race, because even when you read through this article, and I was watching it, I seen the tail end of them talking about it on TV, but I kind of missed, you know, everything that they was going into. But, you know, this article kind of covers it. So let's just get into a little bit of it. It says executives from a trio of biggest and most widely known companies in America are lining up behind President Donald Trump's plan to create investment accounts for children born during his second term as an enticement to pass his divisive One Big Beautiful Bill Act currently under consideration in Congress. So it says Dell computer founder Michael Dell, Uber CEO Dara Khosrowshahi, if I'm pronouncing that right, probably butchering that shit. Anyway, and Goldman Sachs boss David Solomon appeared at the White House on Monday alongside Trump for an event to promote what the bill labels Trump accounts as a way of promoting financial literacy and encouraging Americans to have more children. And that's pretty much what it's going off into. I mean, you want all your children to be astute, you know what I'm saying, when it comes to curriculum, you know, so you can have the best and bravest, you know, or the best minds as far as your communities go. Because, you know, America's nothing like a place like China. They don't take education seriously like that, you know. And that's one of the reasons, too, that Trump is trying to keep these foreigners, or basically Chinese, they're kind of gearing that more towards China when it comes to the Harvard thing. You know, they're trying to keep out those international students from coming to Harvard. And that's mainly the reason why. And pretty much overall, the ones that they're really focused on real hardcore is China. Because they understand that, you know, the Chinese, they'll come here, you know, they get that education, they taking that shit right back to China, and it doesn't benefit America at all, you know, and to a certain extent. I mean, some of them will stick around, but China's not too big about putting into America's economy like that, you know. A lot of the stuff that they do, they support China. You know, when they go and shop in America, they are going to shop at a place where shit was shipped in from China. It's not like stuff that's grown here, you know. If anything, you know, they'll pay the rent, or overall they'll buy a property in a sense, you know what I'm saying. You know, they're pretty good about getting around of a lot of American shit. I'll put it that way. But anyway, so it says, so we know that this is about these kids. They really want to get them children up, man, up to count on them children. Because, yeah, Esau doing bad right now. And the ones that's being born, they're being born to be damn monsters. The trailer trash ones of Esau is not working for them. They know that those ones that's in these trailer parks throughout America that went out and voted for them, you know what I'm saying, they already know that that's a last resort deal as far as them coming out of the woodworks and being beneficial to the country, so to speak, even though a lot of them are hillbillies themselves, you know. Well, okay, it says each announced that their respective companies would be willing to contribute to accounts established for children of their employees. So again, what Jake, you know, worked for Dell Computer, or I guess, yeah, you driving a damn car for Uber, but I don't know if that'll be around if they be throwing you that kind of bread. Goldman Sachs, we already know Jake not gonna be in that industry neither. But anyway, it says The Trump accounts will be tax deferred and will start with a one-time contribution of $1,000 from the federal government. Okay, so he's going to take $1,000 from you so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, because your tax money is going to go towards this, but you're not going to benefit from it. Just like, you know, your tax money goes towards war in Ukraine, but it benefits you none of it. It doesn't benefit you at all. Or your taxpayer money going to Israel, but it doesn't benefit you at all. So this is another situation where they'll use your tax money instead of, and then they'll tell you that they don't have no reparation money for you. They could actually come up with a program like this right here and push it towards so-called blacks. You know what I'm saying? You know, on some well, we know that we haven't given you reparations, but here's a start, you know, type of. No, they're not gearing this towards you. Funds deposited into the accounts will be invested to track the overall stock market and be accessible when the children reach age 21. Now, that's another thing that I wanted to touch on as well, because, you know, that's Esau thinking that this place is going to last another fucking 21 years. You know? That's him really thinking that. He really believes that America, he really believes in the America, make America great again concept. He thinks that this place is really going to carry on, but the Lord is about to destroy this place. Let me get this real quick. Salakia. This was a scripture that came to mind in Psalms chapter 17. Verse 14 is the point, but I'll get verse 13. Psalm 17 and 13, it says, "Arise, O Yahweh, disappoint him, cast him down, deliver my soul from the wicked, which is thy sword, from men which are thy hand, O Lord Yahweh, from men of the world, which have their portion in this life, and whose belly thou fillest with thy hid treasure. They are full of children, see, and leave the rest of their substance to their babes." And this was generally something that Esau would, you know, overall do, but a lot of these Edomites have really messed up inheritances real big time, man. As far as, you know, they really dropped the ball when it comes to you know, the damn company can go back to the fucking 1800s, and you'll have one of these damn crackheads, you know, siblings come into the family, and he'll just squander off the company. You know, but they still pretty decent about, especially the elite of them, you know, they're pretty decent about holding on to, you know, their wealth for the next generation. Well, let's go back into it. It says, yeah, because they talking about the children age 21. Trump hailed the business leaders for participating in the project, calling them the greatest business minds we have today. Okay, it says, these men and women lead large, successful companies, and they're committed to contributing millions of dollars to the Trump account. And it's going to be something incredible for children and for their employees in many cases. This is a pro-family initiative that will help millions of Americans harness the strength of our economy to lift up the next generation. And they'll really be getting a big jump on life, especially if we get a little bit lucky with some of those numbers and the economies into the future. See, they really believe that this shit is going to carry on, man. The president credited Dell, a longtime Republican donor, with having brought the Trump account concept to his attention, as well as GOP Representatives Blake Moore of the Utah and House Speaker Mike Johnson, the latter of whom hailed the proposed policy as a bold, transformative policy that gives every eligible American child a financial head start from day one. So when they say eligible American child, they don't have you so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans in mind. Trust me when I tell you that. But they're going to take your money, though. You know, because that $1,000, that federal $1,000, that's going to be money. Yeah, it's going to come from everybody else as well. But why should your money go towards it? Why can't your money stay in your pocket, in your neighborhood, and your community to help your children out? See? But it goes on to say, but the plan Republicans have adopted actually follows one that has been implemented in places such as California, Connecticut, and District of Columbia, each of which has introduced baby bonds, which invest funds for newborns that are available when they reach adulthood for education and other purposes. The idea dates back to 2010 as an academic proposal for reducing wealth inequalities and breaking cycles of poverty and it was centerpiece of New Jersey Senator Cory Booker's short-lived 2020 presidential campaign. So, yeah, you know Esau, they'll steal some shit. They'll take some shit and say, yep, that's a great idea, but it's not going to work for them. We'll put that together. We'll make it work for us. See, they thought it to be. That's how them Democrats and overall Republicans get down. You know, either one of them will come up with a great idea, but it's because, you know, they're gang banging against each other. They can't, you know, actually help each other out with that, you know. So it is what it is. See, when it was the Democrats, that would have helped you poor. See, what it says again, it says reducing wealth inequalities and breaking cycles of poverty. So when it was for you Jake, possibly, so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, you know, the Republicans won with that shit. Now all of a sudden you got all these billionaire tech companies and these companies putting towards these millions of dollars, and they're going to take $1,000 of your tax money to put towards kids that don't have nothing to do with you. This is not for your children. This is not for your economy as far as your community. And so we got to get the hell out of here, man. It says the Trump administration proposal included the One Big Beautiful Bill Act would require at least one parent to produce a social security number with work authorizations, which would prevent children of some categories of immigrants from having accounts established for them. See, this is not for, you know, they see, he's really, when he say make America great again, while he's bringing in those white Afrikaners, those so-called white people that's supposedly being oppressed over in Africa, that own all the damn land, you know, when he's bringing in Ukrainians, you know, see, he's slippery with the words, but you can see he's blatantly forward with his racism. He just, you know, he's just not straight, flat out saying, well, you know, this is for white people only. But you can clearly see that the shit that he's doing is just for white people only. So it is what it is, man. And this shit is going nowhere. That's the thing. It says, unlike the District of Columbia's program and similar ones that are intended to reduce poverty by targeting disadvantaged groups, the Trump account program will be available to families of all incomes. Yeah, right. Dell, the veteran entrepreneur and home computer pioneer, said his company was proud to be one of the very first companies to support the proposal. Following your inspiring lead, Mr. President, Dell Technologies will match the government's contributions dollar for dollar for every child born to a Dell team member. Now, who the fuck you think what so-called black people, Hispanic or Native American people, or, you know, like, who the fuck you think gonna work for Dell? It might be a Negro, you know, here or there. You know what I'm saying? They might try and make it, but with him getting rid of the DEI and all that other little stuff like that, that shit ain't. Anyway, you can clearly see this is not for us as a people. I'll just put it that way. It says this isn't just a new benefit. This is investment in our people, their families, our communities, and America's future. Who you think they to see when they use words like that? They talking about white people. And they can say it just like this right here. And so, what did we say wrong? Like, what's racist about it? What's racist about it? See, Esau done got slick as shit, man. They blatantly letting you know they racist as hell with nice words. It said, and it embodies our core belief that opportunity should begin at birth. Yeah, not for you, Jake, though. He added that he and his wife expect to make a very significant gift through his family's foundation to support the plan, calling it a powerful platform for philanthropist innovation aimed at helping children thrive wherever they come from, particularly those families who historically left behind. Yeah, he's trying to bring up the trailer trash of Esau, man. He's trying to really get those numbers up, bro. Let's see what some of the comments say. Yeah, somebody got the numbers up. This is how much it costs to give birth in the U.S. Donnie's solution is the equivalent of trying to fix a decapitation with a used Band-Aid. Yeah. Yeah, man. It's very expensive. But I seen the numbers, though, because I'm thinking when I was watching it on TV, I think they were saying, I'm trying to think how much they said it would be at by the end, because it's something that they're adding money on to. You know what I'm saying? And I seen something with 50,000 after a certain amount of years. Then I think I seen $125,000 after a certain amount of years. So this is something that's gonna be growing. You know what I'm saying? So this will most definitely help. You know, some of those, I guess, I don't know, maybe Trump, you know, middle class type bullshit or whatever. But just know that this is not for you, Jake. Some more national debt added to this country. But hey, him with the Doge guy, you know what I'm saying? They, you know, supposedly they back friends again. This guy, yeah. Yeah. Well, hey man, it is what it is. Hey, you know, we're the point of it is that this place is not going to carry on like that. It ain't gonna be no fucking man. We pray for praying hard as hell, man. This place don't last another year. In some damn 21 years, man. Well, we know his ass would be gone if that would be the case. He wouldn't be able to see a dime of it, or he wouldn't be able to see it play out if that was the case. Come on, man. What the hell going on here, Slovakia? Slovakia, my phone done froze up. Shit done froze. Let me see though. Slovakia, Bible froze up. But anyway, you get the point. I don't want to keep this long anyway. I just seen that, and that's just another way of Trump and them trying to get them baby numbers back up, man. Let me go back in here because there was a couple of precepts, but point was made. In this particular one, where they leave this substance to their babes. Yeah, portion in this life, precepts. Let me see, let me jump to it. Yes, Psalm 73:12. Behold, these are the ungodly who prosper in the world, they increase in riches. Yeah, that Job 12:6, it says, the tabernacles of robbers prosper, and they that provoke Yahweh are secure, and to whose hand Yahweh bringeth abundantly. Verse 9, who knoweth not in all these that the hand of the Lord hath wrought this. Job 21:7, it says, wherefore do the wicked live, behold, Salakia, wherefore do the wicked live, become old, yet and are mighty in power. Their seed is established in their sight with them, and their offspring before their eyes. Their houses are safe from fear, neither is the rod of God upon them. Because this is their kingdom, man. You know what I'm saying? But they going to get to business soon. Their bull gendereth, and faileth not. Their cows calveth, and casteth not her calf. They send forth their little ones like a flock, and their children dance. They take the timbrel and harp, and rejoice at the sound of the organ. They spend their days in wealth, and in the moment go down to the grave. Therefore they say unto God, depart from us, for we desire not the knowledge of thy ways. What is the Almighty, that we should serve him? And what profit should we have if we pray unto him? And that's the attitude of these so-called white people, man. And that lets you know that the Lord created them as the wicked. He didn't create them to be spiritual like that. You know what I'm saying? He gave that, you know, that portion to that lot to Jacob. And Jacob had those 12 sons. Remember, Jacob's name was changed to Israel, Yashal in the Hebrew tongue, meaning they are princes of the power. So we have that blessing on the other end, you know what I'm saying, which our latter end is going to be far greater than this man's shit could ever be. Yeah, man. Psalms 39:6, surely every man walketh in a vain show. Surely they are disquieted in vain. He heapeth up riches, and knoweth not who shall gather them. And going off into, I think that's Proverbs, where it talks about pretty much overall the wicked. They're gathering up the wealth for the righteous, roughly paraphrasing. Let me see if I can find it, Salakia. Well, Salakia, I was actually right there. I could have just continued reading, but I know it's another one in Proverbs too. But let's start back. Job 27:14. If his children be multiplied, it is for the sword, and if his offspring shall not be satisfied with bread, those that remain of him shall be buried in death, and his widows shall not weep. Though he heap up silver as dust, and prepare raiment as the clay, he may prepare it, but he shall, Salakia, but the just shall put it on, and the innocent shall divide the silver. That's, pretty much the one that I wanted. Let's see, it's a precept on that. Yep, Proverbs 28:8, that was the one. He that by usury and unjust gain increaseth his substance, he shall gather it for him that will pity the poor. Yep, and that's pretty much what's about to happen to this man. So ain't gonna be no damn 21 more years for his children to grow up and get fat and try and pass on some more inheritances. Nah. By that time, man, the elite be snatched up out of them bunkers, man. And Esau pay out that 1,000-year debt that he got to pay out. You know what I'm saying? His ass going directly into captivity, man. But I seen this article, thought it to be interesting. This is how this man gets down. And trust me, man. Hey, when they, all that shit they doing, it don't have you, Jake, in mind. And Jake, see, Jake starting to really realize, what's that? The FAFO, fuck around and find out. A lot of Jake went out and voted for this man. So-called blacks was all proud as hell, especially black men. They was prideful as a motherfucker, man, on in their little TikTok videos and YouTube videos and shit like that. Now they starting to see, hey, we voted for a goddamn weirdo, and even so-called white people. But guess what though? You had Northern Kingdom, so-called Hispanics, Venezuela, all these different Northern Kingdomers that went out and voted for this man. Now he catching your ass up while you washing dishes in the back of a restaurant, throwing you into an ice van. You somewhere making tacos and shit, and this motherfucker rolling up on you, man. You at a construction site. They waiting on your ass at the construction places because they know that's where they know you work. But a lot of you thought that it was gonna be, we must see. You thought that it was gonna get you over by trying to act as if you was for him, like, he'll cut us a break, and we're better than those ones that's coming over here. Yeah, we must get rid of. Yeah, he done showed you now that, and now all of a sudden, this dude is sending out the Marines on y'all asses, man. And it's only going to get more worse. Because this is city to city. I know they here in Detroit right now protesting and shit, man. Because there's a lot of Northern Kingdom here. They scattered throughout here. They pretty deep here. So Esau, man, he don't have you niggas in mind. He got his own people in mind. And generally, he don't care about the I would say the poorer of his people, because he don't give a shit about the ones that's actually around him. But they have a better chance of getting it in, as far as these executive orders and shit that he's signing, but he's fucking a lot of his own people over, so it's not working out well for him. And this right here is not gonna work, even if it was to last long enough. It's just not gonna work, man. Anyway, with that, I pray that the lesson was edifying.